I wish somebody would have told 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐸 that we can actually tell what the sky looked like 50,000 plus years ago, and he didn't need to do all that. Bro, do you, not know the power of Google? You could have at least looked up, hey, can we see the night sky from the past? Honestly, I just think he wanted it for the drama. Who specifically stands on a clock and makes a pun? 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐸. Who wants to dangle kids from cliffs and shrug when they die? 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐸. Actually, I'm starting to like this guy a little bit. So let's talk about the first half of Moon Knight episodes 1 through 3, with spoilers, of course. So just to make people angry right off the bat, I would rank so far the episodes in reverse. So episode 3 was the best, episode 2, second place, and episode 1 was the worst by far. I mean, based off of episode 1, I thought this was going to be my least favorite Disney Plus live-action MCU TV show, even though it has a ton of things that I love. Egyptian gods, magic suits, mental illness, Oscar Isaac. Then episode 2 came out, and it moved up a little bit more, and episode 3, I'm sold. I need season 2 already. I really want to see Moon Knight in the MCU movies, and I kind of fear him and Deadpool meeting. I'm not sure why the CGI was so bad in episode 1 and 2, but then episode 3, it got way better. The jackals were disgustingly bad, and I hated them. I'm sorry, disgusting is too strong of a word, and hate hinders prayers. What I meant to say is the CGI jackals sucked ass, Disney. Given that episode 3 was leaps and bounds better with CGI, I'm not too worried going into the future. Well, I mean, with the last 3 episodes. Even if it's bad CGI, I like it enough where it's kind of eh. The costume, by the way, is real, but does have a bit of CGI, so the head area, obviously the eyes is CGI, kind of have some weird feelings on the costume. First, boy, are you kidding me with that jump and then the hold with your cape shaped like a crescent moon? God damn, Disney, do not get me that worked up that early in the day. Honestly, I think the worst part of his suit was the eyes, maybe the hood a bit. I think the problem with the eyes is maybe it's too flat and maybe just too small. Maybe if the eyes were a bit bigger and the light wasn't so lifeless. His MCU costume is so much darker than his comic costume, and I don't actually mean that literally. His costume is a lot more formed in the show, and how the armor forms is, quite frankly, a bit frightening. The bandages that wrap around him to make him become Moon Knight. And I'm not sure if that was just a nod to Egypt and mummies, or if it's signifying, okay, he becomes wrapped in these bandages, he becomes a monster, a typical looking mummy from our horror stories. I mean, it kind of makes sense. A brutal hero, in quotations, that attacks at night and wears white because he wants you to know, me, or maybe one of my other personalities, want you to know that I want you to see me very clearly and have your last moments in terror as I shank a bitch. That Mr. Knight suit is perfection. Honestly, all the little details on the suit, I can't stop staring at it every time Steven is on the screen. In the Mr. Knight costume suit. I like how 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐸 made sure to drop the, oh, my healing armor, right before Mark was gonna get run through with a bunch of stuff, because people would go, oh my gosh, so he can survive dying? Does he die and come back to life? Because normally when you have that many pulls thrown through you, you're not walking away, you know, like a minute later. So it was kind of like a wink wink, so you knew he was gonna get the shit just absolutely beaten out of him. I mean, just absolutely wrecked in this episode. By the way, Mark, take the suit. Mark, take the suit. Like, please, God, take over the body after he's already run through with the pulls. I absolutely love Steven being a minor character, which I will talk about in a little bit. Alright, I had a whole section in this script where, like, it got really dark and I got kind of ranty, and it ends with, because the world is a nightmare. So I'm just gonna skip that section, alright. I hate so much when characters having miscommunication or terrible communication moves the plot forward. I understand communication issues is one of the biggest problems in a relationship, but some of the conversations or what was said or wasn't said, no. Normal people don't talk like that. I also understand normal people usually don't get made an avatar of a god, but that's not the point. My point is, I'm right, we're moving on. There's a third identity tease, and I so want that guy to be in the next episode. Now, I understand that they used the first 2 episodes to really get us to feel for Steven and how meek he is, and we just needed it for these future episodes. I have to say, Mark is the dominant personality, and Steven inside making little quips or in the reflection, like freaking out, or they're in the tomb and he's just geeking out, stuff like that is really funny, and I like it a lot more. More Mark screen time, little bit, less, maybe 2/3 Mark, 1/3 Steven, and then a smidgen carved out of it for the homicidal other personality. So the third identity is probably the super violent Jake, but I'm up for changes. They want to change it a bit. Obviously, they are making the third identity a bit more brutal, because even Mark, who's a killer, was like, wow, dude, this is some fuck shit. I'm assuming the third identity one is the execution style in the back of the head. I hope we do not actually see that personality in control of the body, maybe until the end, the finale, where we just see the third personality come out and just massacre everyone. Hopefully they're in an orphanage. Okay, I want you to look at their faces. Those are the faces of 2 men that fought with an absolute psychopath that at one moment was beating their asses and then speaking in a horrible British accent the next moment, apologizing and probably giving them money for their troubles. Those actors showed so much in those eyes. Layla and Steven need to bone, because definitely at the end, those were very strong vibes. Or wait, maybe it could be like a timeshare. So for the intellectual stuff, Layla has Steven. And then for like hot, steamy sex, physical adventure stuff, you have Mark. And then when she wants to take out an entire family, she has the third personality come out. Here's my theory on Harrow. This whole thing is because Arthur is bitter about 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻𝐿. He wants revenge, so what is he doing? Releasing a god that makes 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿's job, what he stands for, obsolete? Oh, you're the Fist of Justice? Oh, goodness, how can you be the Fist of Justice when they're just ripped up from the root? It's really hard to have justice and punish a wrongdoer when Ammit just wipes them out before they even do it. So basically, she will take his gerb. I gotta think the walking on glass thing is penance for enjoying hurting people, so he feels pain, he inflicts pain on himself because he found joy in hurting others. The music is fire. I am really enjoying the music. They could have gone very generic with it, but I mean, there is some generic soundtracks in there, obviously, but I like the music. I think it's great. Okay. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 is a drama queen, and I feel like drama queen gods are the best. I'm guessing regardless of comic book lore, this is going to be something like maybe they're parallel to the Asgardian gods, maybe they're from a different realm or pocket dimension. I don't know if they're ever going to talk about the difference between a realm and a pocket dimension in the MCU. I guess we'll see. But I think it's just going to be one of those things. The gods talking was really frustrating. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 is like a toddler. Just could not articulate what he needed to get out there. And then also Mark, I understand that it took a lot out of him to be having 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 talking through him, but still there was more he could have said. It's back to that communication thing. Okay, this is what I've been thinking, and I don't know if this is a popular opinion. This should have been Civil War. Okay, you have some heroes that are like, yes, we will know evil, we'll know crime before it's committed, and we'll stop that person, we'll imprison them, or, maybe they end up being executed. And then you have the other heroes that go, if they have not committed the crime, they're innocent. However, I am curious, so if we're going with there's so many timelines, there's so many different decisions humans can make, isn't it saying that in every timeline this person does this thing? Because I highly doubt it. So therefore, wouldn't she have to wait for the person to get to the path where they could no longer deviate and they were for sure gonna do that horrible thing? So then you're saying, well, okay, free will doesn't exist, and in that case, why are those people responsible for those crimes? They didn't have any free will. Oh my god, imagine this. Okay. Ends up working, 𝐴𝒃 comes back, all the other gods are like, oh no! And the whole plan comes into being. Alright, we have this new world. It's only full of people that 𝐴𝒃 has said, yeah, you're good, you don't do anything bad. What happens when a woman gets pregnant and the fetus in her does a bad thing in the future? Would they just, take care of it then? Or is it something where you have to wait for them to be born and then, the child takes its first breath, they end up doing the scales, and then they just, break the newborn's neck? If it's bad. Disney, honestly, you're cowards if you don't make a what if episode about this. Come on. Let us watch babies die.